Am I live? Yes, I am. And so I was going to tell everybody the story about when I saw the Sex Pistols in San Antonio, Texas at Randy's Rodeo. I was about 23 years old. I was living in Kerrville, Texas at the time. And I was listening to Top 40 Rock on the radio. And favorite band was Beatles. I was just a pop rock guy, didn't know much about music. Never went to concerts. The only concert I'd ever seen was in Atlanta. I saw Chicago with Joe Walsh opening for them. So that was pretty good. That's the only concert I'd ever seen in my life. So I'm in Kerrville and listening to Top 40 radio. One day, I hear on the radio that the Sex Pistols are coming to town, into San Antonio, and they're going to play Randy's Rodeo for $2.50 at the door. Now, I had been seeing on the nightly news, I was into the news then, I had been seeing stories about riots in England and chaos, like it was going to be the French Revolution over there, like they were going to hang the Queen. And I had no idea what it was about. I was just a Beatles guy listening to Top 40 radio, Elton John. And this stuff was on the national news. It was killing me. I mean, it was blowing my mind. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what to think of it. I had been fairly obsessed with it when I heard on the radio that day, the Sex Pistols will be in San Antonio, Texas, playing Randy's Rodeo for $2.50 at the door. I was like, it's insane. It made no possible sense that could even humanly be happening. I knew what Randy's Rodeo was. I had never been there, but Randy's Rodeo was what we called a kicker joint. And I don't think that was a derogatory term. It's just cowboys, kickers, kick the mud off your boots. I don't know, shit kicker. And it was it was a dance club. It was a place people go to line dance and stuff, not a disco or anything. This was a real cowboy music joint, just like Crider's in Kerrville, Texas, where I was living. And I just thought, well, this is just the most insane thing ever. And why are they playing there? What could possibly be going on? Is it going to be hell on earth? Is it going to be a riot? And just a minute later, I thought, well, I've got to go. I got to see that. Whatever. And so I started trying to find people to go to the show with me. Couldn't find anyone. My little brother and his friends all went to see Ted Nugent about 100 times a year, and in San Antonio and places and stuff. And they all went to kicker joints too, but nobody wanted to go see the Sex. They didn't even know. They weren't obsessed with the idea of what are they doing on the national news, having riots in England, revolution and fighting and dancing that looks like war, the punk rock dancing and everything. They didn't follow the news like I did. And so they didn't go, and they all regret it. Every 20 or 30 people I asked to go with me to see that show, all terribly regret it, to the point that my little brother has a hard time remembering he didn't go because I've told the damn story so many times. So I finally found one guy, Brian Faltine from Comfort, Texas. And he was someone I'd gone to school at the junior college with. He was a theater major. He was a hard-ass kicker, tough-ass guy, mean guy, but very smart, very funny, interesting. Played piano like he was Elton John, trying to be Elton John kind of thing. And at the same time, he was someone, he was a mean guy, handsome but mean, who would tell me stories about how many fights he started. I just went to Crider's and started this fight and that fight, and I just knocked the rear windshield off this car or this or that, and I just told that guy, fuck him, and I fought him, and then blah, 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 and the fights always ended up getting broken up. He just wanted to start fights. It was ridiculous. But anyway, when I approached Brian about going to see the Sex Pistols, he said, yeah, definitely, I'll go. I was like, you know who they are? And this, I know that. Yeah. The Sex Pistols are nothing more than sewer rats with guitars, is what Brian said. The first time I approached him about seeing the Sex Pistols, I thought, oh, okay. Well, I didn't know who they were. I didn't know what they stood for, whatever. It was all just too much. So anyway, the day approached. I think it was January 8th. I've looked it up. It's not like I'm that clear on the memory, but uh, the day approached. We got in the car. We went. He was very much about. I was amazed how excited Brian was about this. I was shocked that he was going to go with me, and boy, he just couldn't stop saying the Sex Pistols are nothing more than sewer rats with guitars. He said that about 25 times before we got there, and as far as I knew, maybe he was right. I didn't know what the hell it could be, but I was thinking about not Crider's, but Randy's Rodeo, and thinking that's a big kicker joint. That's going to be all cowboys. This could be, and the closer we got, the more nervous I got. I wasn't even listening to Brian yammering in my ear constantly. I was the one driving. I was taking him to the show, and he was talking. I'm not listening. I'm just thinking, no, this is going to be kind of weird. And as we got there, I started to get a little nervous. And I started thinking, I hope this place is empty. I mean, hey, there's no fans of the Sex Pistols in the United States, as far as I knew. And this is San Antonio. And so I thought, well, it's just gonna be empty. It's like they did a stupid booking because it was a big hall, and they thought, well, maybe, they're trying to be successful, whatever they're trying to do. And so, we get off the expressway. We finally get from Kerrville to San Antonio. It's like an hour or something like that. And round our way around towards the whatever avenue it was, heading to Randy's Rodeo. We pull in, the fucking parking lot is packed. I mean, it is literally thick, deep, stadium-style, giant-ass motherfucking parking. And it's all pickup trucks. And I'm thinking, this is really scary. We had to park in the back. And I get out of the car. At this point, I'm so nervous. I'm tingling. I just feel the presence of, believe me, I was someone who felt like I was going to get my ass kicked whenever I went to one of these kind of places anyway. Because I didn't dress like a cowboy. I didn't act like a cowboy, like my friend Brian Faltine from Comfort, Texas did. And I'm just thinking, holy shit, this is a nightmare. And as we got out of my car, and started going towards the entrance, I mean, we've got to go through 50 rows of pickup trucks down little alleys between them. I started feeling like I was floating, that scary feeling like you're floating, like, oh, do you ever have that right before some terrible thing happens? You're floating and then boom, you get hit by a boulder. It's like, what the fuck? I'm floating towards the place. I don't want to go. And I tried to think of ways I might get out as we were approaching it. And I couldn't think of anything. And now I'm floating towards it. I don't hear what Brian's saying. I don't hear my footsteps or anything. And we're floating past all the trucks. And I swear to God, there's a rifle hanging in the back of almost every one of them. Half. It was, I'm just thinking, well, people, it's going to be shooting and killing here tonight. Holy shit, but I floated up to the entrance. Brian and I went in. It was $2.50 at the door. Then I just remember Brian saying, I'm going to get a, it was packed. The place was packed. And Brian, I'm going to get a beer. I'll be down at the front. Down at the front. I'm like, what? And he's gone. And that's the last I see of him. I just stood it back, um, just reading the whole thing, thinking this is going to be super horrible. It took about an hour late for the first band to go on, and they were a kind of a jam band, and they didn't jam long. The Cowboys shut them down. Boo, 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 boo. This is not their shit. No, this is not their kicker music. They didn't have a kicker band on there to open up for the Sex Pistols. They had some hippie-ish jam band that the Cowboys hated just as much as they probably hated the freaking Sex Pistols. And so they booed them off the stage in 15 minutes. They didn't get through one song because they were a jam band. They didn't get through one song before they left the stage. Then it was a little, not that much past the allotted time, whatever time that was, that the Sex Pistols were supposed to come on stage when that band was gone. Well, it seems like it was at least an hour, but I remember it more like 2 hours late that the Sex Pistols came on stage. 2 hours of packed house of Cowboys sitting around drinking beer, just drinking and drinking and grumbling and rumbling. And I'm like, man, this is it's just who knows, my God, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, when the Sex Pistols finally came out and walked to the stage, the sound of just the audience went like, it was just a wild screaming roar of animals, wolves wanting to attack. It wasn't applause or yelling, yay. It was, every single fucking cowboy was saying, I'm going to kill you, you stupid ass motherfucker, you sons of bitches, blah, blah, blah. Drinking. Johnny Rotten came out and he was staring at the audience like, it's like he was trying to stare down every member of the audience. But then here came the hail of beer cans. Zoom, zoom. Not empty beer cans they picked up, full beers. Boom, boom, boom. Band is off the stage. Off the stage. Here come what looked like police. I don't know if they were security people that Malcolm McLaren had hired, but they were dressed like police. And they come out, they got guns. They got their left hand on the gun, their right hand with flashlight. They do that for like 5, 10, 15 minutes or some shit. I mean, it was so insane. And then finally the crowd is, blah, 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 blah. They stop screaming and acting agitated and stop throwing shit. Another 20-minute silence goes by. The stage is empty. The band comes out. Crowd lets them come out this time. They turn on their instruments. And the sound went from this roar of hubble hubba to an absolute, put your head in the exhaust of a jet engine. Endless volume. You could not hear a beat of the drums, a note of the guitar, a word of the vocals. It was just a jet engine of, and that's what it was like through the whole show. And as the show progressed, the beer cans came back, attacked. Police came on a second time, band went off, band came back on finally, started the same routine again of the whole airplane noise. And then the beer cans start coming again, more and 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 falling more and more. And it's sort of, my God, it's flying past them all the time. There's spray of beer in the air all the time. And they're all kind of like dodging. And the guitar player is like playing guitar and going like zing, 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 zing. And the beer cans are flying past him. And it's spilling on him, but nothing's hitting him really. He's dodging the whole thing as he's playing. And then all of a sudden a beer can just goes right there on his chest, dripping down over his guitar. Just, and he stands there for a second and then gets this ragey look on his face. And he rips his guitar off, I swear to God, and starts reaching down and picking up half full beer cans and batting them into the audience. Batting them down again, bat, down again, bat, straight down into the thick of like infinite people piled together, clawing at the stage. And I swear to God, he backed them up. He backed up about 100 people that were right on him, hitting him with shit. Bang, 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 bang. It was amazing. And it was at that point that I had started to think, I don't know what's going on here, but I'm on the band side. Because, all they did was come out and plug in their instruments and make hellacious noise, but they are being attacked as if it's a war. And so then, after he started doing that, he was out of ammunition at some point, and the whole band rushed back behind the drum kit. They rushed back behind the drum kit. And it was a waterfall of beer cans. It's like, that Blues Brothers movie? That Blues Brothers movie where they're playing and all kinds of shit's being thrown at them, and there's a net. This was way worse than that in terms of the stuff being thrown, and there was no net. That's the difference. And I think the Blues Brothers got this idea from the Sex Pistols shit. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, the hail going on this band, they're all ducked behind the drum kit, and I'm looking. I mean, the bass player, the singer, and the guitar player are ducked behind the drum kit. Then I look, and the drummer is not on his stool anymore. He's down behind the drum kit too. He's just reaching up in the air and going like, just making any noise he can. And then the guitar player, I see, because at this point I've been drawn into where I'm trying to get up to where I can see what's going on. I'm just too interested. And the guitar player is down behind the drum kit too, with his guitar, and he's taking his boot off and he's raking his boot over the guitar, and the jet engine sound is just getting even louder now. It's like it's really about to take off now. And then the crowd starts to breach the stage. They start to, oh, there's one guy there. Oh, there's another one. They're like heading towards it. They're trying to figure out how to get over the drum kit with all the cymbals and shit like that to get to the band. Security finally comes back on. The band disappears. They disappeared. There was like a hole in the back of the stage where they could go backstage, I guess, because I didn't even see how they got out. I just saw them suddenly kind of slither away and disappear. Security finally quiets the damn place down. It takes like another freaking half hour to get the place to even be quiet and stand down. So then they finally start drifting out. These 500 people, it seemed like, drifting out. And I'm in the back, standing at the bar, just thinking, what the fuck did I just see? So they drift out and drift out and drift out. It takes 10, 15 minutes. Because I don't know. Well, there's about 150 people left. And I'm thinking, okay, well, I'll just be the last person here. I want to see everybody leave and just see how, this experience has just blown my mind. It's just completely blown my mind. So then 150 guys left. They're backs to the stage. They're coming towards the exits. Here comes Johnny Rotten out onto the stage by himself. Literally. I mean, this really happened. He's got 2 fistfuls of bills, money, green money, holding them up. And he goes up to the microphone and it's on and it works. How? I didn't see anybody set it back up or what. Anyway, he says, "We got your 250. We got your Texas 250. I'm like, what the fuck? And at that point, the 150 guys that are still there with their backs to the stage, well, what? And they attack him. They come running down to the stage. He disappears. The security comes back up on. And after whatever amount of time, everybody's finally out of the place, and I walk out of the place. I think I was the last person to leave the damn theater who, was an attendee. I finally started thinking, where's my friend Brian Faltine? He comes running up to me like a sweaty, over-crazed fucking, one of those badgers, freaking, whatever badgers. He was just, blah. Oh, did you see me? Did you see what I did? He's screaming, telling me that he had attacked Sid Vicious and been kicked out of the club. And so we get in the car to go back to Kerrville, Texas. He's raging like that. I have had like 1,000 times the adrenaline I would normally have in a year in one night floating through my veins. And I knew it was just a matter of minutes before Brian and I had to have it out because he wouldn't stop. And I'm just like, you're one of those rednecks. You're one of those fools. And so we're heading down I-10 towards Kerrville, and I just speeding up to like 85, and I just pound the brakes, pull the car over, and I told Brian that, you got to get out or shut up or no words. So there were no more words. I got Brian Faltine from Comfort, Texas, back to Comfort, Texas. He got out of the car, and there were no words. Just, I don't think there was even a sound. But anyway, the punchline is that a week goes by. I don't think I'm ever going to see Brian again. It's just like, that was too ugly. And I picked up an issue of People magazine, which was always around the house. And it says something about Sex Pistols riot, San Antonio. I'm like, oh shit, yes. Oh my God, turn to it. It has a little, blurb, blah, blah, blah. It was a riot. It was insane. And blah, 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 blue. And Brian Faltine from Comfort, Texas said, the Sex Pistols are nothing more than sewer rats with guitars, unquote. So that's the end of my Sex Pistols story. I hope you enjoyed it. Everybody, good night. Chip Shirley. See you next time.